And as we kind of move over here, you'll see a lot more of that piping that we saw.
Jesse Gregson shows us a narrow mechanical room filled with pipes all connecting a new heat recovery system. His real estate company is upgrading 2 buildings to meet Vancouver's new bylaw, including the biggest mall in the city.
In this building particularly, we're targeting a 50% steam reduction, which equates to almost 50% reduction in emissions for the building.
In Vancouver, more than half of all carbon pollution vents from buildings. The cap on emissions will now apply to roughly 200 buildings citywide, and owners who don't comply will face hefty fines. The bylaw was inspired by similar measures in New York, Boston, and Washington, D.C.
With the right structures, we see lots of progress being made in 3-year timeframes.
Schneider Electric is a global company that helps with decarbonization. They look at the energy footprint of a building to calculate exactly which retrofits are needed.
The technologies exist, the business models exist, the financing exists to get probably 70% of a good transition done relatively quickly.
The city says roughly 1 in 4 buildings covered by the new bylaw currently exceed the emissions limits, with fines typically ranging from $10,000 to $30,000. But those building owners have a grace period until 2026 before those penalties kick in.
One thing we heard loud and clear is that, real estate owners need help to get this work done. If you're a bigger player,
BC's Industry Association says while the timelines are feasible, it's the cost that can be a big challenge.
So a building owner might look at that and go, well, wow, this building is not worth as much as it was 5 years ago. I'm going to have to spend a significant sum of money to make it comply with these regulations. Maybe it makes more sense for me to redevelop this building and tear it down.
Ultimately, Vancouver's goal is to cut big building emissions in half by 2030 and altogether by 2040. Tanya Fletcher, CBC News, Vancouver.